Arielle. Let's talk about downward facing dog, also known as Adho Mukha Svanasana. It's a great pose to help lengthen your back body. It's also an inversion where your head is below your heart, so you get the added benefit of increased blood flow to the brain. However, if you have tight hamstrings, finding the alignment can be a little tricky. So all you need is a wall and some floor space. Once you find your wall, lean back into it. Have your feet on the floor with your knees bent and scooch your sacrum to the wall. That's right where your pelvis transitions into your spine. Maintaining that, press your head into the wall and lift your arms up, just like you would in downward facing dog. Have your hands shoulder distance apart, drape your shoulders back into the wall, and then push your rib cage into the wall. Feel the sacrum seal into the mat, and then spiral the pinkies in just a little bit. Now, keeping your back aligned with the wall, see if you can straighten out your legs. If you have tight hamstrings, it's likely that your legs can't lengthen all the way while keeping this connection to the wall. Notice if your legs lengthen and your tailbone curls under, and now suddenly there's a gap between your hips and the wall. So adding that bend in your knees will help you find the alignment in your spine. Now close your eyes and seal this feeling in your body memory, because this is exactly what your downward facing dog is gonna feel like. It's okay to have bent knees in your down dog. Eventually your legs will lengthen out once the hamstrings start to lengthen. But for now, focus on the alignment. Now we're gonna find the same kind of alignment lying on your back. So turn to the side so that your hip is against the wall, and then slowly pivot onto your back as you swing your legs up the wall. Keep your knees bent just like you did before, and scoot your glutes all the way up to the wall so you can feel like you're sitting on the wall. Then the arms can come up overhead. Check and feel your rib cage and your lower back on the mat. Now maintaining that, explore lengthening through your legs. Now if the legs can go all the way straight, great. That's gonna be what your downward facing dog feels like. In which case, imagine the back of your knees can push into the wall, so the quads start to activate. Now we're gonna add a little bit of a bend in your knees, and it almost feels like your heels are gonna slide down the wall towards the floor. Now keep that action, and then looking at your toes, spread out all 10 toes and press up through your tippy toes, the ball mounds of your feet. Feel the engagement of your quads and your hamstrings, your shins and your calves. Now adding a little bit of an internal rotation. Let the heels widen as the toes come a little closer towards one another. Now go ahead and close your eyes and seal this feeling in your body. Pressing your head into the mat, feeling your shoulder blades on the floor, grounding through the entire length of your spine all the way to the lower back, drawing the low belly in slightly. Take one more deep breath. Exhale. All right, now roll over to one side and we'll find our downward facing dog here. So coming onto your mat, start in a tabletop with your hands beneath your shoulders and your knees beneath your hips. Then walk your hands forward 1 finger's distance. Imagine your peace fingers had 2 parallel lines shooting forward out of them. Now spiral your triceps back so the inner elbows start to spiral towards the top of your mat. Now let the inner elbows look at one another, so not too much of that rotation. The elbows trying to see one another. Now tucking the toes, lift your knees and lengthen through your legs. See if you can find that same alignment. The feet are hips width apart. You're pressing through the ball mounds of your feet and the toes spread wide. Maybe you have to bend your knees like you noticed when you were seated on your mat with your back against the wall. Find that alignment as if your spine was still along the wall. If you were able to lengthen through your legs, imagine the same thing we did in version 2. Like the back of your knees wanted to touch the wall, and then you add a little bit of a bend. Nice. The low belly starts to lift in and up. Imagine the wall along your back body as well, from the tail all the way up to the crown. Spiraling the triceps down. Let the elbows feel like they can see the index fingers. And then press down into your index fingers and your thumbs, that entire L shape of your palm. Grounding into the ball mounds of your hands, the metacarpal knuckles, and your fingertips. Let your head relax, ears between the arms, and your eyes can look somewhere on the mat between the hands and the feet, or softly gaze down the bridge of your nose. Take a few breaths here. Well done. Go ahead, make your way onto your knees, have a seat. Now, if you still felt a little restricted in the shoulders, you can try doing this pose with blocks underneath your hands. I'm just gonna take the blocks towards the top of the mat, right where my hands go in downward facing dog. From here, I'll do the same thing we just did. I'll tuck my toes, lift my knees, lengthen through my legs. With my hands on blocks, my arms have gotten a little bit longer, which can create a little more space and forgiveness for any tightness in the shoulders. Maybe you like this variation. You can stay with it as long as you need. Eventually, maybe the blocks disappear. But if not, no worries. Always doing what's best for your alignment in your individual body. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Happy practicing!